The medieval tournament is often romanticized as an orderly joust where gallant knights fought for noble ladies under royal supervision. In reality, these grand events were complex, hazardous, and politically charged. Spanning the 12th to 16th centuries, the tournament, or tourney, served as a premier arena for demonstrating military prowess, winning immense wealth, and projecting dynastic power. Over time, it evolved from a chaotic, near-lethal mock battle into a highly choreographed theatrical spectacle, reflecting the shifting social and strategic values of the medieval aristocracy. The word tournament derives from the Old French tournement and tournoyer, which stem from the Latin tornare, meaning to turn. In the late 12th century, the chronicler Roger of Hoveden defined the tournament not as an act of hostility, but as a disciplined exercise carried out solely for practice and the display of prowess. For the medieval knight, these games were a serious professional endeavor to keep military skills sharp for war. While equestrian exercises date back to ancient Roman cavalry games, structured medieval tournaments emerged in the High Middle Ages. In 843, the chronicler Nithard recorded Carolingian cavalry games at Worms involving a general melee, demonstrating the early military training routes. By the late 12th century, a chronicler from Tours credited the formal invention of the tournament to the Angevin baron Geoffroy de Préaulx, while later German sources credited King Henry the Fowler with writing the first tournament codes. The earliest written record of the word tournament is found in peace legislation issued in Valenciennes in 1114, and regular tournament circuits were active across northern France by the 1160s. In the High Middle Ages, the tournament's centerpiece was the mêlée, or bouhurt, rather than the individual joust. This was a massive clash where two teams of armored knights charged each other across miles of open countryside, aiming to break enemy formations and capture opponents for ransom. In these chaotic early free-for-alls, rules were scarce. Foot soldiers dragged knights from their horses, and multiple opponents routinely ambushed a single target. This violence provided realistic training for war. The chronicler Roger of Howden wrote that a young man who had never seen his own blood flow, never heard his teeth crunch under the blow of an opponent, and never felt the full weight of an adversary upon him, was not ready for battle. For a skilled but penniless knight, these violent events were highly profitable. Captors claimed their defeated opponents' valuable horses, weapons, armor, and ransoms. William Marshal made his fortune at such tournaments, capturing over 100 knights in just 2 months and eventually rising to become the Regent of England. However, the sheer violence provoked heavy opposition. The Catholic Church condemned tournaments as inventions of the devil that distracted knights from crusades. In 1130, Pope Innocent II banned them at Clermont, denying Christian burials to those slain. Secular rulers also feared the threat to public order. King Henry II of England banned tournaments to prevent riots and noble feuds. To bypass domestic bans, English knights traveled to northern France for the prestigious tournament season. Recognizing the sport's military value and revenue potential, Henry's son, Richard the Lionheart, re-allowed tournaments in England in 1194 under strict licensing fees and at 6 designated sites. By the 14th century, the tournament underwent a dramatic transformation, driven by safety concerns and the culture of courtly love. The chaotic melee was gradually replaced by the joust, a focused, one-on-one duel with 12-foot lances. To reduce head-on collisions, organizers introduced the tilt, a wooden barrier separating the charging riders. The joust allowed knights to display individual skill and courage before spectator stands. Ladies played an increasingly central role. Knights rode wearing their chosen ladies' tokens, competing for prizes awarded by a Queen of Beauty. Scoring became highly formalized. Points were awarded for unhorsing an opponent, striking his helmet crest, or cleanly shattering lances. Striking an opponent's horse resulted in instant disqualification. Tournament participants often wore various decorations on their helmets. These played an important role, as knights competed not only in their martial skills, but also in the beauty of their armor. Ladies would present their favorites with colored ribbons and feathers, which the knights would proudly weave into their helmet decorations. Competing at this elite level required rigorous training and expensive gear. Knights trained on the quintain, a swiveling target that swung a heavy weight to hit careless riders. They rode powerful, expensive war horses called destriers. Jousting armor grew highly specialized, featuring reinforced left shoulders and frogmouth helmets. These helmets allowed maximum visibility during the forward charge, but let the knight pull his head back at the last second to protect his eyes from shattering lance splinters. The astronomical costs of this gear eventually excluded all but the wealthiest, turning elite jousters into international celebrities. Richard Beauchamp, Earl of Warwick, triumphed across England, France, Italy, and Germany. His dominance was so absolute that spectators once accused him of being tied to his saddle, prompting him to dismount to prove his honesty. Other celebrated English jousters included Harry Hotspur and Sir John Cornwall, who won a royal bride through his jousting prowess. Yet, tournaments remained dangerous. William Marshal was tragically dragged to death in 1241 after losing control of his horse. Monarchs were also at risk. King Henry VIII, an avid jouster who established an armor factory at Greenwich, was badly injured twice. In 1524, he suffered a blow above his eye when he failed to close his visor, and in 1536, a heavy fall left him unconscious for 2 hours, an injury believed to have triggered his notorious temper. The tournament's demise was driven by mounting financial costs, changing warfare, and royal tragedies. The late medieval focus on theatrical pageantry, with costumed knights, pageant wagons, and narrative dramas, made tournaments incredibly expensive. In 1350, a tournament in Norwich cost 5 years' wages for a skilled craftsman, and citizens of Ghent rioted in 1379 over the high costs of an announced event. The final blow to the age of the tournament came in 1559. King Henry II of France was mortally wounded when a splinter from Gabriel Montgomery's lance pierced his eye and brain. His death plunged France into political instability and the French Wars of Religion. Following this tragedy, combative tournaments collapsed, replaced by non-lethal team games like the Spanish Cane Games. Though the physical clashes ended, the ideals of chivalry and athletic spectacle forged in the medieval lists left an enduring legacy in Western culture. Thank you for watching, and if you want to explore more dark corners of history, don't forget to like and subscribe.